Baby, it's swampy outside. Boy, all weekend long, the swamp has been overreacting. In Empire of Lies, a novel I wrote, one of the characters, Empire of Lies is about how political correctness, it's a thriller about political correctness that makes a oncoming terrorist attack virtually invisible by forcing people not to talk about the things that contribute to terrorist attacks, like in this case, Islamism. And at one point, the hero goes to a university where he's finding out all the things that people can't say. And somebody says this, I'm quoting myself here, which I don't like to do, but it's worth it. He says, these powerful people believe things like one culture is as good as another, or there's no such thing as good and evil, and therefore if America is at odds or at war with somebody, it must be America's fault. He says you only have to think about those statements for 2 minutes to see that they can't possibly be true, but these people think they should be true, and they think they'll seem to be true if no one is allowed to say that they're not true. So they attack anyone who says that they're not true. They call him names, racist, sexist, phobic, offensive, whatever. They demand apologies from him. They make his life a misery, so no one wants to speak up. And the hero says, so it's like the emperor's new clothes. And the guy says, right, except instead of clothes, it's the emperor's lies. And in an empire of lies, only a crazy man would speak the truth. And what he goes on to say is, when they destroy you, they don't destroy you for speaking the truth, they destroy you for being crazy, because you have to be a different kind of person, an offbeat, eccentric, or even wild kind of person to speak the truth when you know it's going to cost you your job. And when you're listening to me, my wife scolds me about this. My wife actually says to me, you don't care enough about what people say about you. You don't care enough about your status and your reputation. She's right. I don't. I'm here doing something else. I'm writing and talking as honestly as I know how. It gives me great joy to do it. I've already lost all the Hollywood jobs, and I've gotten the reviews where they call me names. I've got all that stuff. It doesn't mean a thing to me because I love what I'm doing and it matters to me, and I think it's what God wants me to do. But that's not the usual thing. People can be got. They want what they want. They want the lovely things that they've built. Kevin Hart is a guy who grew up without a dad. His dad was a cocaine addict. He went to prison. His mom, raised him. He is the guy that we want Americans to be. He's the guy who overcame, the difficulties of his youth, and he became a big success. He is the all-American guy, right? This is the kind of person we think like, yeah, this is what we love about America, that he can do it. When he got his job hosting the Oscars, he said, this is my dream job. This is what he worked. He's a kid. He's growing up. He's thinking about being an entertainer. This is a big deal. It is a big deal to him. He wants it. And they go back and they find some tweets where he said, if my son comes home and tries to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to break it over his head and say, stop, that's gay. Okay, so this, oh my goodness, this was too much. And so the whole point about this, it's not about right or wrong. It's certainly not about the fact that it's in the past. It's about the fact that it's all power. It's identity politics is just power. Identity politics is power politics with your face pasted on it as a mask, right? If they know they can take away from this man his dream job, the job this Black American worked for all his life and suffered for and did all the stuff that you have to do. And when you go into show business, when you become a writer like me, you're risking a lot. You're risking your life. Most people who do these things could do other things, could do safer things like be a lawyer or a businessman. Being in the arts is a risky profession. This guy made it. He succeeded. And now he's in danger because he said something that he believed at the time, may believe now. He may believe it now, that's the way, he should. It's none of your damn business. And if he tweeted it, he has the right to his opinion. Let me just point out, you know my points of view. People on our listenership are always attacking me for not condemning homosexuality. I don't care what other people do with their private life. I've never said whether these things are sinful or not, because I think that's between you and God. And God, as I read the Bible, God has purposely told us that we are not to judge other men's sins. That is not what we are here for. We are here to love one another. We're here to sit down even with sinners as Christ did. It's hard for me to, it doesn't tell you in the Bible what Christ said to the sinners when he sat down with them, but I really doubt he harangued them over dinner. It was everybody else saying to him, why are you doing this? And he said, these are the people I've come for. These are the people I've come to collect. And so I feel like it's not my job to make those judgments. It is God's job. And I've worked with so many talented, lovely, wonderful gay people. I don't want to attack anybody or even think about their relationship with God, which is their personal issue, okay? But you have the right to pass judgments on behaviors. You have a right to say what you think about them. You have a right to even make nasty comments. For crying out loud, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to make people more tolerant to silence people. It makes you just more angry. And it just enforces lying. It means that now Kevin Hart has to not say the things that he wanted to say. So we saw the usual lynching. It's a lynching. That's what it is. It's a social lynching. First they come out and Kevin Hart makes this statement. This is cut number 7. He comes out and says, oh my God, this whole thing is coming back and I don't want to hear about it. Here he is.
My team calls me, oh my God, Kevin, the world is upset about tweets you did years ago. Oh my God. Guys, I'm almost 40 years old. If you don't believe that people change, grow, evolve as they get older, I don't know what to tell you.
So that's the first thing that everybody says, oh, it was in the past. And this is, they've actually gotten into trouble with this. The Heisman Trophy winner, this lovely guy from Oklahoma U, Kyler Murray's the quarterback there. He won the Heisman Trophy, gave this beautiful speech, thanking God, thanking his coaches, thanking his parents. Obviously a humble guy who's worked so hard for this. USA Today goes out and finds a tweet from when he was 15 years old in which he used the word queer. He calls somebody, like that's never, no 15-year-old has ever done this before. But of course, and people jump down their throats, as they should, because he said it when he was 15. I don't care if he said it today. The guy has a right. Part of what defines you is what you don't like. Part of what defines you are the things that you disapprove of. You're perfectly allowed, you should be perfectly allowed, without risking your career, to have an opinion. It is not like attacking somebody's race, which is the way they're born. It's part of the image of God that they are made in. It's not like that. When you attack people's behaviors, when you attack their philosophies, when you criticize them, even when you make jokes about them, you're perfectly within the rights of human interaction. Oh, that's the first statement that Kevin Hart makes, just saying, this is terrible. Then he says, I'm not going to apologize. Here's the second one.
I just got a call from the Academy, and that call basically said, Kevin, apologize for your tweets of old, or we're going to have to move on and find another host. Talking about the tweets from 2009, 2010. I chose to pass. I passed on the apology. The reason why I passed is because I've addressed this several times. This is not the first time this has come up. I've addressed it. I've spoken on it. I've said where the rights and wrongs were. I've said who I am now versus who I was then. I've done it. I'm not going to continue to go back and tap into the days of old when I moved on and I'm in a completely different space in my life. The same energy that went into finding those old tweets could be the same energy put into finding the response to the questions that have been asked years after years after years. We feed in the internet trolls and we reward them. I'm not going to do it, man. I'm going to be me. I'm going to stand my ground. Regardless, Academy, I'm thankful and appreciative of the opportunity. If it goes away, no harm, no foul.
So you just know that what the next thing is going to be, because again, this is the guy's dream job. He worked his way to get it. So finally he steps down. He says, I've made the choice to step down from hosting this year's Oscars, and he apologized. I sincerely apologize to the LGBTQ community for my insensitive words from my past. I'm sorry that I hurt people. I'm evolving and I want to continue to do so. I think we all wish at this point that just one of these guys would just say, you know what? Screw you. Screw you. These are my opinions. I have opinions. Sometimes they're not politically correct. This is me. He wants his career. He worked hard to get it. He came up from a hard place. He got the dream. He doesn't want to give it up. People care if everybody except your humble host cares about what people say about them. And I think that this is, what you're seeing is vicious. And as other people have pointed out, and by the way, the apology will never be enough. A Washington Post opinion piece was called, Is it enough? Has he done enough penance? Is it enough, or is it just a start? The Washington Post is going to decide how much he has to suffer. Christian Toto, our friend from Toto in Hollywood, the right-wing film critic, points out that all these leftists have said all these homophobic things. Chelsea Handler, she used a homophobic attack on Lindsey Graham, saying what kind of video do they have of you performing oral sex that you have to go along with the Republicans. Jimmy Kimmel attacked Sean Hannity, saying, do you prefer to be on top or the bottom with Donald Trump? Sons of Anarchy guy Ron Perlman attacked Senator Rand Paul for saying he was having oral sex and all this stuff. But that's the point. You see, it's not about increasing tolerance about gay people. It is about policing doctrine and punishing the people who essentially disagree. Kevin Hart is a guy who never went along with the killing Trump crowd. I don't know what his politics are. He didn't use those jokes. He didn't do what everybody is doing and virtue signal and send the signal. Yes, I am certified. The white elite can now approve of me because I go along with their opinions. The black community, if there is such a thing as a black community, the black community was part of the reason that even in California, moves to attempt legally and constitutionally to institute gay marriage didn't work. The black community showed up and voted against it. They had strong feelings about it. And, it's white elites who are imposing these ideas. But again, it is not about tolerance. It's not about anything. It's the swamp. It is the swamp saying we are the dictators of opinion, of thought. We are the ones who decree what you can say, what you can do, how you can succeed, what kind of person you have to be to succeed. Which